up, guys, and welcome to yet another tier list video. I'm your host, BC Kane, and today is going to be a pretty good one because we are ranking the best-selling Wii U video games. Now, as you can see, I already have a bunch of games in the haven't played category because I haven't played them. So we have Wii Fit U, Wii Party U, Paper Mario Color Splash, which I want to play really badly. Tropical Freeze, want to play it as well. I'm sorry, I haven't played it ever. Lego City Undercover, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Zombie U, Pikmin 3, and Yoshi's Woolly Worlds. These are a part of the top 20 or so best-selling games. Haven't played them, so sorry. I want to play most of these, but I just can't yet. So without further ado, let's get this list started. So this first one is kind of an obvious one, but it's also a bit hard for me to rank because for Breath of the Wild, I played the Switch version and not the Wii U version. So I don't really have experience with how the Wii U version runs or looks. From what I've heard, it doesn't play that much worse. I mean, the Switch version is a better version, but the Wii U version apparently plays just fine for the most part. So, if we're judging based on the quality of the game and just my memories of it, then it's still an S-tier game for me. I mean, I've said before, Breath of the Wild for me marked a return to gaming for me, because 2016, I fell off of gaming so hard. Like, there was nothing in that year that I was personally that excited for, aside from Pokemon Sun and Moon, kinda Pokkén Tournament, and, one more that I can't think of. It's blanking on me. Oh, Twilight Princess. I played that game for the first time in 2016. But aside from that, it was a barren year. And then this game came out the following year, and I was back, man. Gaming was back in my life. Like, it was like a renaissance for me. And the game is still fantastic. Like, the open world is fantastic. There are things to nitpick, obviously. The story is kind of a hit and miss. The dungeons aren't the best. The final boss is okay for the most part, but just the sense of exploration and the sense of going wherever you want, however you want, and not having, like, any limits is really what makes the game stand out. Like, you know, not putting a limit on the player's wants to explore this world, that's big, and something that really no other open world before then was able to do. So, Zelda Breath of the Wild is still a near masterpiece of a game. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is the better game to me, but this game is still an S for the impact it had on open world games and the Zelda franchise in general, and the Wii U. I mean, this was the the last Wii U first party game to come out before the Switch was out. So there you go. What a way to end the Wii U's not so great run with a 10 out of 10 game. So there you go. So for me, Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game, a near masterpiece, definitely an S tier on this list. Alright, this next one, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. In my opinion, one of the most underrated Wii U games. I love this game a lot. I think it is a perfect spin-off from the Captain Toad levels from Mario 3D World, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, it's a great, like, puzzle and exploration game. Like, the puzzles are great to solve, they're fun. The soundtrack is great. Just seeing Captain Toad get his own spin-off game is just great. The boss fights are pretty cool too. I loved, what's his name? Wingo. He was kind of cool to take on. Not that memorable. He's not that hard either, but he was cool for what he was. And yeah, again, just there were a lot of great puzzles and a lot of great moments, and you know, Toadette was playable. That was cool as well. The minecart sections were, like, the most fun part of the game for me. Getting to, like, use the Wii U's camera to aim in first person at the enemies on, while on the minecart. That was kind of cool. Have not played the newer version, like the Switch version, which is the same game pretty much. So, I did play this version, though. So, from this version, I can definitely say that it's definitely an A-tier game. Some might say B. But for me, it's probably at most an A-. I don't think it's quite... Like, it doesn't have that many bad things about it to put it in B tier for me. Like, it's not that many things to nitpick at. But, it's definitely not anywhere close to S tier because it is kind of a bite-sized game, mostly. But it's still a great game, and I love it. So, for me, Treasure Tracker is a very solid A- game. So, hot take on this one. I love Mario Kart 8. You guys know I love it. One of my favorite Mario Karts. But I gotta say, the Wii U version, I would not put anywhere close to S tier for one big reason. They ruined the battle mode. You guys know I love the racing. I do. But I am a battle mode stan. I have always loved battle mode more than the racing. And this game has by far the worst battle mode in any Mario Kart. There's no exclusive arenas. You go on the game's racetracks, and it's a bad experience. Like, I played it once or twice and never played it again. That's how bad it was. But it's still definitely at most an A+ game. But because of that battle mode being just the worst ever, it can't be an S for me. It can't. But this game really helped the Wii U too. Like, the Wii was kind of suffering for a bit in 2013. But then this game came out, and Wii U sales were pretty... They got pretty good when this game came out. So yeah, it was big for the Wii U, but again, we're judging also based on the quality of the game itself. And while I love Mario Kart 8 overall, especially the deluxe version, the Wii U version is not quite S tier for me because of that ruined battle mode. But everything else is great. Love the racing, love the graphics, love the music, love the racetracks. It still feels great to play in 2024, honestly, at least the Switch version. But this one, very solid A+, not quite S, but still one of the best and most fluid Mario Kart titles out there. So Mario Party was on kind of a downfall after the GameCube era. The Wii one was good, I will say that. And then 9 and 10 came out, and they just weren't great. And I will say right now, Mario Party 10 especially is, in my opinion, the worst Mario Party title. I had no fun playing Mario Party 10. And what's funny is I was excited for the Bowser mode. I was, because, you know, it was a brand new mode that was like basically 4-on-1 against Bowser. But then I realized just how OP Bowser is. Like, it is pretty hard to win as the non-Bowser team. Like, as a group of 4, I mean. Because Bowser gets so many dice rolls, and if you lose even one player because of a Bowser minigame, you can't move as far, so he can easily catch up to you and then wipe out the rest of your team. It just feels very unbalanced. And then the main game itself is just, it's meh. The minigames are fine as well, but the minigames are fine, but the board game experience, it being linear, doesn't work. It does not make it fun. It ruins any chance of strategy or skill or whatnot, as seen in previous Mario Party titles. Making the boards point-to-point is the worst idea, and I hate the whole car mechanic, so... yeah, it's not the worst game ever. There are a couple merits to it. It looks great. It has pretty good graphics, and it can be fun in the right circumstances, but on an overall sense, this game is not fun for me at all. So Mario Party 10 is the first D tier on this list. It's bad. I can't defend this game at all. I'm sorry, guys. Mario Party 10 is kind of trash. Alright, so we're gonna rank Mario Bros. U and Luigi U in the same take here because they're kind of the same game with just different levels. But they're solid games. I enjoy them. I think they're probably the best 2D Mario games in the new series. Great level design, great creativity, great soundtrack. The final boss is pretty cool as well. I think Wheeze is the best Bowser one by far. By far though. But as far as the new series, I think U and Luigi U, well, both, are the best in the new series. Best levels, pretty good post-game as well. I'd probably say a solid B tier, not quite an A, and I think Luigi U is the better game because of the whole having to rush thing with, like, the shorter timer. That kind of makes levels a bit more fun to run through, in my opinion. But they're both solid games. I enjoy them. They're not too memorable for me, but what I played, I enjoyed. So, yeah, Mario Bros. U, Luigi U, pretty solid B tier Wii U games. So I don't think a lot of people have played, not just the Mario and Sonic and the Olympic Games series, but specifically the Rio 2016 one. I actually have. I have not played the London one, or most of the other ones. I have played the original, and I think I demoed the newest one, which is the 2021. But this one, I gotta say, I like it, but I don't have many memories of it. I don't. Like, I enjoyed the gameplay. I enjoyed the whole Rio setting. I enjoyed, was there a story mode in this one? I think there was, maybe not. There was something where you had to, like, go to, like, this hub area and you had, like, a carnival that spawns in. I don't remember. But, the games were great. I enjoyed them overall, but I just don't have many memories of this one. I don't. So I'd probably put it at a C tier, because it's definitely better than Mario Party 10 in, like, every single way possible. But as far as, like, my memories of playing the game, I don't have that many. Like, what I played that I can remember was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. So I think there are better Mario and Sonic games out there. Like the original, for example, to me is a better game. And the DS Winter one is probably the best one I've played. With the story mode, fantastic. But this one, it's alright, but it's not great. So we'll put the Rio 2016 Mario and Sonic games at a pretty fine, solid C tier. Alright, now it's getting juicy. We got Mario 3D World. I have gone on record that I think 3D World is very underrated. I think people do love it, but I don't see it get the same kind of love as the Galaxy titles and 64 and Sunshine and Odyssey. I will say right now, I think Galaxy and Odyssey are better, but to me, I think 3D World is better than Sunshine and 64. I think it is. I love this game a lot. It is fantastic. It has great level design, one of the best Mario soundtracks out there. An amazing post-game as well, one of the best final post-game challenges being Champions Road. And just great gameplay, and it still looks great to this day. Like, when this game first came out on the Wii U, it had the best graphics I've seen on the Wii U at that time. Obviously, they've been topped since then because of the Switch coming out and better Wii U games being made since then. But yeah, at the time, I was just blown away by how good this game was, and it still plays pretty well. So for me, 3D World, it's an A tier for sure, but is it better than Mario Kart 8? You know what? I might move this, but for right now, I'm gonna put it at an A+. I think it might be an S tier later on once I kind of reflect a bit, but for right now, it's definitely an A+ at least. It is one of the best Wii U games out there. You know what? No. It's gonna be an S. I don't think it's it's not in the same league as Mario Kart 8 and Captain Toad. It's better. So, yeah, very solid S or S- for Super Mario 3D World. Alright, so Super Mario Maker. I was hyped for this one. I was. But I don't think I've played enough to really say if I would put it in S tier. But upon further reflection just now, I think I might, because Mario Maker has one of the best gamepad uses of any game on the Wii U, with having to create your levels that way. That made the gamepad so much more useful than it's ever been, in my opinion. But I keep going back and forth, but I think Mario Maker, to me, based on my experience, I don't think it's quite S tier for me, but it's definitely an A+. Because getting to make your own Mario levels is just an insane idea in and of itself. Like, 2 is the better game for, like, the more creative features. No amiibo costumes, but those are just not really... I don't really care about this, or care about them enough. I know some people do, but I don't really. But yeah, Mario Maker 1, it's great. Great gamepad use, and I made a lot of cool levels. Didn't really make a whole lot of great ones, because I'm not that great at making my own levels, but I played a whole lot of good ones, and it was a great time. So, for me, Mario Maker is better than Mario Kart 8 and Captain Toad. So, actually, you know what? No. Scratch that. Scratch that. I still hate the battle mode in Mario Kart 8, but I think Mario Maker is not as good of a game as Mario Kart 8. So, we're gonna put it here. Because, yeah, again, I don't think the battle mode ruins Mario Kart 8 that much, but it does prevent it from being an S tier. But, Mario Maker is gonna be an A tier game for me. You guys already know where this game is going. If you don't follow my channel at all, then first of all, you suck. And secondly, you should know by now where I'm putting this game. Don't even gotta say it right now, but I'm going to anyway. Splatoon is the easiest S tier on this list. It is my favorite Wii U game of all time. It is one of the best new IPs we've ever seen from any company. Like, when this game came out, I was addicted. I mean addicted. I was playing this game for hours every single day when it came out. And here's the thing, I'm not into shooters. I'm not. The shooter genre is one that I don't really care for. I don't play Call of Duty, I don't play Halo, I don't play whatever else, like, Battlegrounds or whatever other shooter games are out there. But this game just hooked me. And the reason why is because of how it works. The mechanics, like the ink swimming and just the way you play the game, like inking your territory to get points, that's what hooked me. And I played the demo. I played one game. One game in the demo. I played more, but I mean, I played one game. And by that first game, I'm like, yep, I'm buying this game day one. It took one online multiplayer match in that demo to sell me on the game. That's how great it is. That's how you know how much I love this game. But yeah, great soundtrack, memorable gameplay, pretty good single-player campaign too. One of the best modern final bosses in any Nintendo game. I love DJ Octavio. Great music. I love, what is it called? Calamari Incantation playing during the final boss fight. So, Splatoon for me is a special game. I adore it to death. It is my favorite Wii U game. It was so incredible for me. Just a great experience all the way through until it stopped getting support as, like, DLC, or... You know what I mean. It stopped getting support, but I still loved it even after, like, it lost all the whatever it added for it. But, yeah. Anywho, Splatoon, S tier, done, goodbye. Oh boy, so Smash Bros. For Wii U. I think it's my third favorite Smash game, right? Based on the tier list I did for all the Smash games. Because I think my top three are Ultimate, Melee, and Wii U, right? Yeah. So Wii U's great. It has some of the best content in any Smash game. Like, the amount of things you can do is pretty crazy with the Master and Crazy orders, the Classic mode, Stage Builder. We had, Target Blast. Smash Tour was crap. I hate it. But yeah, the game looked great, and it had the best gameplay for Smash until, of course, Ultimate came out. But at the time, like, I was playing Smash, not quite as long as Splatoon, but, very, very close. I was playing Smash very consistently. Not online, because online kind of sucked. But yeah, just content in general, there's a lot to do here. The game looks great, as I said. Just a great time, so definitely an S tier. Probably better than 3D World, but, not quite as good as Breath of the Wild. So I'll put it right here, but definitely a middle S tier. One of the best Smash games out there, definitely. Just a great time. I love Smash Bros. For Wii U, so pretty solid S tier for me. Just like Splatoon, if you don't follow my channel, number one, again, you suck, and number two, you should know where this game is going. I have said so many times, Twilight Princess is one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. So that alone should tell you that I'm putting this bad boy in a very high S tier. Now, I would not put it above Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is a better game for me. But, it's going right here. Like, this game gets so much hate nowadays, and I don't know why. Does it look the best? No. Is Wolf Link the best, like, mechanic ever? No. Can the story be just a tad bit divisive with how they kinda push Zan aside for Ganondorf? Kinda. The dungeons are still the best in the series, far and away. Midna is the best character of all time, far and away. What else is there? The locations are great. Love all of them. Love the village. I love Kakariko. I love Lake Hylia. The boss fights are great for the most part. I love the Zant boss fight. I love the Ganondorf final boss fight. I love most of the dungeon boss fights. So yeah, I can see why people hate Twilight Princess. I can. I agree with some of the stuff they say, like the world being ugly and the world being kind of empty with like what you can do in that world, like the things you can find and whatnot. The story can be kind of hit or miss for some people, but for me, this game is just, it's fantastic. I will never stop loving it. So, Twilight Princess, another easy S tier on this list. So I played the Wind Waker very recently for my first playthrough of the year. And I still love it, but I gotta say, I don't know if I love it as much as I originally thought I did. And the reason why is because the game looks great, it plays great, it has a memorable soundtrack, and great exploration with, like, the whole sea sailing. But the dungeons aren't that memorable. The characters are good for the most part. And the game is on the shorter side from what I've played recently. It's not as long as I thought it was. It was kind of short compared to other bigger Zelda games, but I still love Wind Waker. Like, I know that seems like I hate the game now. No, I just don't know if I would put it at the same high standard as I thought I would when I first played it back in 2019. But yeah, I still love the game. Again, it looks great, it plays great, one of the best stories in Zelda in my opinion. One of the best ways to go about the world with the Great Sea. But for me, it's definitely not an S. It can't be, based on the minor nitpicks I have about it. But it's still definitely an A tier game for me. And I think it's definitely better than Captain Toad and Mario Maker. And honestly, it's better than Mario Kart 8 for me. I would say so. I still love this game, but it's just not quite S tier for me. I think if the dungeons were more memorable and the game was a little bit longer with like more bigger hits for me, then it'd probably be an S tier. But for what it is, based on what I played recently, or I guess my replay through, or you know what I mean. Based on playing through it recently, I think it's still a very, very high A+, but not quite S tier. But I still love Wind Waker, and it's still a fantastic A tier game. A lot of people would not put Hyrule Warriors anywhere close to A or S, but for me, as someone who is a huge fan of the Warriors franchise and Zelda, obviously, I was hyped as hell for this game. I played it at GameStop because they had the demo, like, the little demo kiosk where they had the game running, and I played the first level, and I'm like, yep, I'm getting this game. I need it right now. I love it. Like, I've always loved the Warriors franchise. I've played Dynasty Warriors, loved it. I loved Zelda. Now, here's the thing. At the time this game came out, I was just getting into Zelda. Like, I played Ocarina of Time before then, and I think I had played a bit of Wind Waker, like, way back in my day. But, I think the year before that, which is 2013, I was just getting into Zelda for the first time. I played Ocarina, and I wanted to play the other games. So, I actually learned about the other games through Hyrule Warriors. I learned who Midna was, I learned what Twilight Princess was, I learned about Skyward Sword, and Fi, and Girahim, and whatnot. So, this game is kind of big for me because I learned about the other big Zelda games through this game because they incorporate a lot of the characters and worlds into this game. So, that was pretty crazy. But yeah, this game is definitely a solid A tier. As far as where? You know what? I love Captain Toad. I'm gonna knock it down. I'm gonna put Hyrule Warriors in a low A-, because it has a lot of content too. It has a lot of DLC, which I really enjoyed. But Captain Toad for me is probably gonna get knocked down to B+. Again, love it, but I think the A tier games are like a lot better on a grander scale than Captain Toad is. But I still love Captain Toad to death. But yeah, Hyrule Warriors, a lot of great content, a lot of DLC that kind of expanded the game. The adventure maps were so much fun to explore and go through. The story was great, loved the soundtrack, loved the characters, and yeah, just a very, very solid Warriors game. Age of Calamity is the better game for me. We'll get to that in a future tier list, I guess, but for right now, the original Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U is a very solid A tier. The 3DS one is kind of a B to C tier because that one kind of looks bad and it doesn't really play that great. But the original Wii U version of Hyrule Warriors is for sure a solid A tier game. So I was pretty hyped for Pokkén Tournament because I love Pokemon, obviously, but I'm not into the traditional fighting games. I'm not into Tekken or Mortal Kombat, so I didn't know how to feel about this one. I heard good things about it from the arcade version, but I wasn't too sure. But I still got the game when it came out, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the gameplay. The Pokemon look great in this game, by the way. The models and just the designs of each Pokemon look great. Even better than the Switch games, if I'm being real. Like, the models were fantastic. Just the fidelity, the hairs on each Pokemon, their facial expression. It is probably the best that Pokemon has looked on any game ever. Like, it's crazy. The story is kind of hit or miss for the most part. The whole Shadow Mewtwo stuff is okay, I guess, but not really that memorable. The gameplay, again, is great. I do like the league ranking system where you have to go between each league to get to the final champion fight. It did kind of drag on a bit for me, personally. It takes a while to get there if you're not really good at the game. But I was good at it for the most part, so I got there not too quick, but kind of quick. But it was an average time I got there. I didn't spend too long on it. But yeah, for me, it's a solid B. I would say, again, I love Pokemon, but I'm just not into the more traditional fighting games, like I said before. So it's probably a solid B-. I think it's still a great game overall, but I think the other games are probably more memorable for me, based on, like, my memories of the game as I finished it for the first time. But yeah, Pokkén Tournament is still a solid game. I would play it again anytime I could, but, yeah, it's a solid B-tier game. I hope a sequel is coming in the future because they can make it a bit of a better experience and have a better story and a more deeper gameplay. But for right now, Pokkén Tournament on the Wii U, B to B-. And finally, we have one of the Wii U launch games, Nintendo Land. So, I did not get this game until, I think, 2018 or... 2016. So 4 years after the Wii U was out. And I gotta say, I like Nintendo Land. Now, here's the bad part. A lot of the good about Nintendo Land is the multiplayer, and I don't have any friends. So I had nobody to play the multiplayer games with. I think CPUs are allowed, but it's not as fun with, like, doing actual people, you know what I mean? So, I didn't quite get the full experience that I hoped for, but the games I did play, like the Mario Chase one, and the Zelda one, and the Metroid one, were all great. They were fun experiences, so, I wish I had more to talk about, but I honestly don't. But, what I played is probably a solid C+. I think if I had had that full experience of having friends over to play it with when it was out originally, and, you know, having that experience of playing with them, and experiencing the games as they're meant to be played, then it'd probably be a solid B or maybe even an A. But for how I had to play it and experience it, it's probably just a C tier. But I still like it a lot. It's still a really solid launch game. It made great use of the whole Wii U gamepad, like, off-screen play thing that was there at the time. But yeah, it's a solid game. Don't really love it, but I like it a lot. So, we'll put Nintendo Land at a very solid C to C+. And there you go. That is my ranking of every top best-selling Wii U game. So, there you go. There's my list. Let me know in the comments what your tier lists are. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think I'm full of BS? Would you put Mario Party 10 at an S tier if you're that crazy? Let me know in the comments, and I will, see how I did against your guys' own opinions. But, yeah, if y'all enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video if you can with your friends. Help get those views up, and I will see you guys in the next tier list video. And until then, bye!